Nikolai, if you didn't think you'd get caught, would you pay your taxes?
I don't think so. Do I think I should be able to bid for a baby? I'm not sure. It's a market. I mean,
In a situation that desperate, you have to do what you have to do to survive.
You have to do what you have to do.
You got to do what you got to do.
What do you say to market?
I noticed that some of the questions you posed to the students were very difficult,
Yes.
and there could be right or wrong answers. They were not sure whether they were giving you the right answers. So they must be quite confused in the beginning. At least they were not confident that they were giving you the answers that you were expecting. Did you expect any concrete answers from each of your questions?
Well, there was not a right answer and a wrong answer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because these are questions of ethics, of values, that philosophers have been debating for centuries. So what I try to put the questions in a way that makes the students see the difficulty, but the questions are concrete enough that students do have an opinion.
Yes, they do. But as a human being, not as a philosophy student.
Yes, exactly. As a human being. And that's where I think philosophy has to begin. If you look at the history of philosophy, at least in the Western tradition, going back to Socrates, Socrates began not with abstract theories and principles, but with ordinary men and women in the streets of Athens.
Yes.
And he would ask them questions.
About daily lives.
About daily life. And I think Eastern as well as Western philosophical traditions connect with daily life. And that's why in my books and in the lectures, I begin with stories, with examples from everyday life.
That's right.
That everyone can think about.
The accident, the car accident, the trolley.
Yes, exactly.
But the students want to pass, your class too. You have to grade them. How do you grade them if the answers are so diversified, are so different?
It's a great question. Right. It's not memorizing. It's not saying what philosopher lived when and so on.
Right.
It's figuring out, students score high.
Yes.
They write papers, not about who said what when,
Right.
but how would they think about a very concrete question that raises philosophical questions that the philosophers have written about. How would they apply those philosophical principles to a contemporary debate from the newspaper or from daily life? And they're graded not on whether they take this position or that position, but on
Whether they can apply the principle.
yes, and whether it shows that they've thought hard about the question, connected it to the philosophical principles, applied those principles well, and also whether they've considered counter-arguments. What might someone say who disagrees with them? Because a lot of learning philosophy is learning how to listen and to reason with someone who disagrees.
Right.
And that's a very important civic skill, because so often in our public life today, we don't do a good job of listening to those with whom we disagree.
That's right.
That's why there's so much shouting at one another and so much partisanship
That's
in
exactly
politics.
what the problem here we are facing in a Thai society as well. split right in the middle.
Yeah.
Opposing sides who don't talk to each other. They only listen to what they agree with, and they do not listen to the other side.
Between the red shirts and the yellow shirts?
Yes, exactly.
I've read a little bit about it.
Yes.
I'm learning more and
So
more.
you might want to consider giving a really big lecture in Thailand about this.
I would love to, provided people would participate. Do you think that they would?
Yeah, I think so. If it's you from the famous professor from Harvard talking about conflict resolution, I think that might be a great topic.
I would love to do that. And it would be fun. I think
It
the
would be.
participants would.
Yes.
I would love to do that.
Yes.